Welcome back, guys. I'm Brian J, and today I have a super special Supra roundtable. That was kind of a tongue twister. I am excited to be surrounded with these guys. I don't typically do male pageant coverage, but this is my first one. So I'm super excited to hear what these guys have to offer the world and the pageant community. So let's go ahead and get to know them a little bit. So introduce yourself, guys.
My name is Trent. I like the warm climate.
Hello, I'm Jaime Antonio Mendez, and I like to dance.
I'm Shaquille Yuri, single dog dad.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm Fernan, and I like to help out the community.
My name's Kevin Pori, and I'm just thrilled to be here.
Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Hayden Jones, and I'm a fitness. I like
Junkie?
fitness.
That works. Guys, so let me tell you, it's really interesting to have myself be part of like this whole world of male pageants because, like I said before, I don't really follow it. I think I would include myself in the stigma where I thought pageants were very sexualized for men. But Supra has taught me that it is not necessarily sexualized and about looks. There's more behind you guys. So it's really interesting. And I would love to hear a little bit of how you guys decided to compete for Mister Supra USA. Let's start over here.
Right on. So, I actually only heard about this a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, I'm excited to be surrounded with a bunch of great people. And, yeah, excited to do the event. It's going to be awesome. So,
What about you, New Jersey?
For me, it was a different perspective. I've been following the pageant industry for a couple of years. Obviously, following the Miss Universe platform showed me how to demonstrate that beauty is not the only thing that they're looking at, also the intelligence of each person. So I started growing in my own state a lot of programs and a lot of institutions for mental health awareness, because there's not much that's being spoken about. So I felt like that was my job to do as a state representative, to spread the word and to show that the male pageantry is not just about looks. It's not just about who's the best clothing line that they're wearing, or it's not all that. It's more about what we have in our, in our brain and how we express it, that we can become the next Mr. Supranational United States.
You know what, and it's super interesting. A few minutes ago, I was telling you guys, now that you mentioned that, is that you guys could change lives. Yes. You might not realize it, but you guys have the power. You guys have a platform that could change people's opinions. And you guys are going to represent the U.S. The U.S. I'm gonna go with the same kind of like vibe that I went with the girls. The U.S. we claim ourselves always as the best country in the world, but we clearly have a lot to get better at. So I would love to hear some of your opinions and share with everyone. What do we have to do to actually be the best country in the world? You want to start, Colorado?
I'd love to answer that one. For me, I think a big reason why I wanted to be a part of this was coming from a medical background and on my rotations this past year. I've learned so much and I've seen so much just from seeing patients over the past year, what our country is headed towards. And for me, I discovered what's called lifestyle medicine. It's an evidence-based, science-based approach for physicians to be able to educate their patients, but we ourselves should be reading. We ourselves should be educating ourselves on how to correctly do our diet, how to correctly maintain a healthy, active lifestyle. Our country is headed towards this chronic disease burden of, hypertension, hyperlipidemia, heart disease, type 2 diabetes. There's so much out there, but what we can do is educate ourselves on healthy eating, diet and nutrition. You can treat yourselves through food and through exercise as well, without having to throw medications at that. So lifestyle medicine is a way that we as a society, but as a country, can go towards a more, healthy outcome. So one of my reasons for wanting to do this.
It's interesting that this table is I would say there's a lot of minorities in this group, and it's really interesting that we have a platform where we can talk about that. So I would love to hear a little bit as well about that. Right now, next to me, we have a black gentleman. We have a Mexican American. So it's really interesting to hear stories like that. You guys want to share a little bit about your experience in life with that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, even back to your previous question, talking about, making our country better, it's just being in conversations like this, like you just said. I mean, this competition as a whole is a small reflection of what our country is. A bunch of people from a bunch of different backgrounds coming together and having these conversations. Because what other platform do we have where I can talk to somebody on the other side of the country who grew up completely different than I did, and then learn something and kind of grow from that. So, being a minority who was raised by, white parents, for me, I already had a base of perspective that a lot of people might not have. And then being able to come here, I knew I was going to leave this competition better than I came here. And I knew I was going to grow by seeing different perspectives.
No, and also I consider again, this is incredible to America, United States, embrace our diversity, our multinationality, because here we speak Spanish, Portuguese, English, so no matter what is your language, you can be part of this. And this is who we can inspire others, because being an immigrant, I can impact millions of people than like me. I keep myself for many years because I didn't represent the beauty for the stereotype that television told me that the Hollywood actors look like. But now you have all the Latinos there, you have all the immigrants there participating, and it's incredible that we have the same opportunities and share with love. Vermont sometimes when I don't understand can help me and explain me, and this is the magic that this pageant create. Embrace all.
The U.S., you guys are looking to represent the U.S. And the U.S. is, like what you guys said, a melting pot of different races, different places, different languages. So it is really important that you guys take this opportunity to talk about things like that, because at the end of the day, like I keep saying, you guys have the power to change people. So in the pageant community, there is no shortage of criticism, a lot of expectations, and I'm sure that, I know more about girl pageants, not about guy pageants, but I can imagine that there is pressure, especially from online, from family, from everyone watching you. So I would love for you guys to talk a little bit about how you handle that pressure and how, you pair that with mental health, which is super important. Hawaii, you want to start with that?
Yeah, well, just generally speaking, like you said, you are very familiar with female pageants and not too much with male pageants, as well as myself until I found out about Supranational. Because the social norm is, women do the pageants, and typically men don't do pageants. So looking into it, I thought it was very exciting because I was always steered away from it just because of the social norm. So I think it's very intriguing that we get an opportunity to represent our masculinity and just to show who we are. There is definitely some nerves, just like anything being on stage. Once you get going and you smile and you see the crowd, you understand that you are a representation of the future to come.
Awesome. Anyone else want to talk about a little bit of that subject, about struggles and people criticizing?
Yeah, like you say, people are participating a lot in social media. They are see us, and it's good no matter what type of messages we receive, because we are still living with a lot of prejudice and stigmas, and these pageants start to help to embrace all. So I think the best form you can pay all the love or all the compassion that people are supporting us is giving the best in this competition. And the bad comments, just like taking an easy way and don't take personal.
What about you, Oregon? How have you felt with criticism and everything?
So yeah, there's a lot of things, like everything you take day by day, just try to be the best version of yourself. And yeah, I mean, it's really great. I'm to relax, I go to the gym, I like the sauna, cold bath. Just kind of gets my head like in the zone. And yeah, I mean, like I've never really done pageants before. I've done like a couple runways. I'm more of like a print model, but it's a very new and exciting experience for me, and I'm just glad to be a part of it with all my friends. And yeah.
On a lighter note, I would love to know, how is the chemistry? How is, how's the vibe with you guys? Maybe not on camera, back behind the scenes. I would love to know how you guys, interact and how fun it is.
Actually, the vibe is very organic because coming in, I didn't know anybody, but you can just feel everyone's energy. People are very welcoming, and that's something that I do like about the community in Supranational.
And that's what we're trying to break the stigma of pageantry is not, it is a competitive platform. Obviously, we're all here, guys, we're all here to win the title. But obviously, it's a more, calming situation knowing that you have brothers that support you in behind the scenes, which we don't see that when we're in our finals. Someone like me that I have followed the pageant industry for the female part, you don't see that. You don't see that the girls in the back, they're helping each other fix themselves. Us guys yesterday we did our preliminaries, and I saw a couple of my brothers helping each other out with our ties or with the shirt or something, or like clean up, because we all want to look our best, and we can't do it without the support of each other.
It's really interesting to see how that happens and how you guys do become real brothers. Like it sounds silly, it sounds maybe typical, but you guys really do become brothers. And it's earlier I was speaking about how mental health is so important, and in the U.S. Men are very, let's say, kind of like set apart. You can't be emotional. You can't show your feelings. I would love to hear a little bit about that from you guys. Being in minorities, myself included, I know that kind of parents push you and they're like, no, you got to be the strong one. Yeah. So I want you guys to talk about that. Anyone want to start?
I think we've created this image where men in the past have had to not show their emotions or not be able to open up, and I think that's what needs to shift is that we need to make it a safe space and change the culture of that, and it starts with a competition like this. Mister Supranational, all the people sitting at this table are amazing in their own right, and they are not afraid to show their emotions, and they are so expressive to one another, and that's what I've seen this week. And as far as being a gentleman, I think that means being able to show who you are, and whether that be crying. I mean, it's totally okay. It's totally fine to do that because you're human. So that's my thoughts on that.
See, earlier we were joking around because the girls did this, and it was an emotional round table. But we were joking. We're like, oh, who's gonna cry? There is a stigma as well with crying. There is a stigma. So when was the last time you guys cried, and why?
I mean, part of my reason for doing this competition, 4 months ago, my childhood best friend took his own life, and somebody, called me, and I live in Las Vegas now, so I was on the other side of the country. I probably cried for 3 days straight. I probably haven't. I mean, I'm super dramatic. I love to be very animated, but crying is just not something I've seen enough in my life. At earlier ages. So crying's not something that comes naturally to me easily. But man, there was just a moment where you felt hopeless. You felt why didn't he feel okay to say that he was not okay? What could I have done to open an ear? Was I not shining my light enough in his area? And so, yeah, I mean, I cried for 3 days probably.
Oh,
I mean,
Well, the last time that I cried was yesterday because it was an emotional day. Before I arrived here, I have an accident with my car. So I was in shock. I entered to the preliminary in shock because I was texting the guy who can I have the accident, and also with all the pressure, I received the message that my dad entered to the hospital. So it was a hard day, and it's you know what? I need to cry. I feel like if after cry I clean my heart, I breathe, and it's I need to do it, but. Like you say, we have a lot of pressure, especially, being a Mexican American, it's Mexicans don't cry, men don't cry. So we have a lot of machismo in my country. So if I show my feelings, I will do very vulnerable for them, and they will see me less. So, but fortunately, my parents teach me that I can express my feelings without problem. So I call my mom, it's I have this. She is Master Reiki, and she gave me a good session, and now I'm much better here with sharing with all my brothers.
What about you, Oregon? You strike me as someone that's very strong. And
Oh man, the last time I cried was probably when my grandfather passed away 3 years ago. So I don't really cry that much. I have a little bit with my girlfriend. When we get into big arguments and stuff like that. But the last time I really broke down and let it all out was my dad called me I was with a couple of friends, and yeah, he's just like, yeah, so your grandfather just passed away. He had hospice like come over, and like they said he was gonna be alive for like another like week or something, but then he ended up passing away that night. And yeah, it really kind of broke me because I was really close to my grandfather and everything, but I was kind of down bad a couple years ago, and I wasn't really like doing what I wanted to do and becoming the man that I wanted to become. And I think after that, I really started to figure out, you know, who I was as a man and where I wanted my life to end up. And I think exactly a year later, I moved out to LA. Or a couple months after that, I met this girl. A couple months later, we got together. We ended up moving to Los Angeles. And it was kind of like a quick little decision, but we came out here, and yeah, I mean, I started like working out here, and just my life just totally 360. And I'm not the same person I was a couple years ago. And I think the person I was a couple years ago would be pretty proud of like who I've become and everything. And I'm super grateful to make connections and make friends with the same values and interests. Because I used to hang out, like a lot of my friends were like troublemakers and just not the right dudes to be hanging out around back in Portland. So I actually haven't been back to Oregon since I moved out here, and I don't really plan on going back. My family, you know, they always come out to my place in Orange County, and they visit me like every couple months. They actually love it, get a free vacation, you know?
You know what, and I appreciate you guys for talking about those things that are a little bit more emotional,
Yeah.
a little bit more touchy, because like I keep saying, you guys have the power to inspire someone. Supranational is aspirational, and that is something that you guys can do. So with your platform, talk about it. I know it's hard. Sometimes you might not be ready, but you could help people with your story. So thank you guys for sharing that.
Thank you.
Thank you so
so
much
much for having us.
Thank you guys. Yeah, I hope you guys
great.
enjoyed these gentlemen. It is honestly going to be a bloodbath because there's a lot of caliber here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys make sure that you follow all these gentlemen because they have a lot to offer the world. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. I
Thank you so
appreciate you
much
guys.
for
Thank
everything,
you.
man.
Thank you.
Thank
guys.
you.
And yeah, make sure that you watch Supranational USA this Sunday. So stick tuned. Bye guys.
Bye, guys.